I don't require sleep, food, water, or defecation, and I have no genitals.
Bummer.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cheap Smut. My name is Katie Mizell.
And my name is Carl Mizell.
And this is a podcast that is hanging in there on a very cold February. How are you, my love?
I'm all right. I'm
Yeah?
pretty good. It's cold. We're expecting a bit of we're under a winter storm watch at present. We should be getting snow anytime now, but that's Michigan, so what are you going to do?
Sit in my house and look out and go, oh, how pretty, and not drive in it, because I don't do that.
Yeah. No, and we've moved the recording into the den today, so the overall sound of the room might sound a little bit different. We don't have the high ceilings that we have with the pine timber roof that we have in the back there of the in the living room where we usually record. But we've got the nice window behind us now. If you've ever watched any of the like videos we've ever done, like the Smutco holiday party, you've seen our curtains. You've seen our street.
Yep.
You know, not that you can see anything
And our
like
couch.
That. And our couch.
Which is where we're sitting right now.
Exactly. And Himbo Jones is just being such a boy for once.
Yes. Well, he has a belly full of food right now, so he's sedated.
Yeah.
He is.
As sedated as this lunatic can be. So, with all of that said, with all of our pleasantries and whatnot out of the way, Himbo Jones has been acknowledged. What do we have on the agenda for today?
Well, this week I read My AI by G.M Fairy, a Why Choose Robot love story. It was great. It was so good. So, G.M Fairy is very well known in certain corners of the smut community, my corner, because she writes smut that is inspired by some of our most beloved millennial childhood media.
Okay.
So she is the one who wrote Get in My Swamp and then Stay in My Swamp.
And then the follow-up, Don't You Dare Leave This Fucking Swamp, which is, in fact, mine.
So that is, of course, a Shrek-inspired love story. Then there's also, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a book that's loosely based on the Bee Movie.
Oh, no.
And then my personal favorite, Pounded by Produce, a veggie love tale, which is based on Veggie Tales.
Yeah, no.
And it is about two priests named Robert and Laurent who are turned into a cucumber and a tomato. It's fucking Bob and Larry, the cucumber and the tomato from Veggie Tales. Getting horny with a lady. I thought that was the most genius thing I had ever heard in my life. You know how I love subversion like that. It's one of my favorite things. So I DM'd GM Fairy and I was like, "You're a genius. How does it feel to be better than other people?"
And she was like, "Fucking great."
And she said, "I think it's just the ADHD." Yeah, obviously.
She did not say fucking great. She did not. Say that.
No, she seemed very kind and humble. But I told her that I had been reading this and that I really liked it. And she said that it is her least well known or least trafficked book. Yes. Least trafficked book. It's the one that gets the least traction. And while I understand that every author has a book that has sold the least copies, right? Or is the least fan favorite, I also am personally offended in that way that all babies are the cutest baby, all dogs are the cutest dog, all books are the best book, you know.
I've seen ugly babies. Not ours, of course, but
no, ours are beautiful.
But there have been a couple babies where I had to stifle a reaction.
I mean, let's be honest, even our gorgeous babies, when they first come out, they are not pretty. They're not really. They're all wrinkly and squishy and they're covered in yuck.
Cheese. It's
cheese.
Like cheese.
It's like a weird cottage cheese thing. Yeah.
Now, our son, I was not present and you were not conscious for the birth of our son.
No.
But you were conscious and I was next to you for the birth of our daughter,
Mhm.
I was not prepared.
No.
I was not prepared.
I mean, neither was I, but for different reasons.
Well, of course, but like the amount of blood and cheese that was
Yeah,
on that girl.
Yeah. I mean, birth is a bloody process,
Yeah.
man. And C-sections, which is what I had, which is why we are talking about birth in this way, are a whole different beast. They have
Yeah.
you're cutting a person out of another person, so the blood is even more extreme.
Yeah. And then these overeducated fucking doctors and nurses are like, "Do you want to come down here and stand and watch?" Like, no.
I would personally.
Fuck no. I was making the overeducated joke as if they're somehow better than me for being able to look at a carved open human. They are. They are better than me because I could not.
They are. I would. I am fascinated by the human body in that way, but I am able to separate myself a little more than I think other people sometimes. And that's okay. Everyone has a different tolerance, and that's fine. Anyway, this book is My AI by G.M Fairy. It is available for $3.69 or through Kindle Unlimited. $10 for a signed paperback direct from the author's website, gmfairyauthor.com. It's more expensive to get the Kindle paperback. So why would you do that? Go directly to the author's website. Let's see. Why don't we get right into our triggers, our triple T's. So our triggers are mentions / descriptions of past trauma, abduction, sexual assault, and stalking. On-page descriptions of non-consensual abduction, stalking, panic attacks, suicidal ideation, sexual assault, and violence. The tropes in this book, this is an MFM ? Cis het menage romance.
A lot going on there.
Yes. It is an android romance, a celebrity and bodyguard romance. And then my personal tropes that I put in just for this: build a boyfriend, AI awakening, iRobot but with fuckin, and no, really, it's a why choose, I swear.
Take that, Asimov.
Yeah, the three laws of robot fucking. What would those be?
A robot must always seek consent.
Yep.
Yeah. Robot will always get you off first. Robot will always call you in the morning.
Robot is programmed with aftercare.
Robot is programmed, yeah. Well, that's an upgrade.
That isn't. Yeah.
Gotta get the aftercare package.
Oh my god! And it's a software patch. Actually, somebody's sharing it for free. It's open. It's
in GitHub.
Yeah.
Just go to GitHub.
Exactly.
Check the code. Just download it.
Yeah, it's open source. It's fine. For titillations, we have he was literally made for her. His first literally everything. Cock sold separately. Superlative little slut. Throat fucking and double vaginal penetration.
Double vegetal penetration.
Vegetal.
You're still stuck on the...
I am. I'm not, but that's funnier.
Thank you.
It's funnier that I just can't talk right sometimes.
And there's just something like a tickle in my throat.
Yeah. So. It's probably because we're in the den. The living room is attacking us for leaving it.
Fuck you. I own all of this. Anyway.
And then at the bottom of my triple T's, I have giant, bolded, underlined, going on about how I think Pounded by Produce, a Veggie Love Tale, is genius. It is currently available for pre-order. It comes out on Valentine's Day.
Oh. So
$15 for a signed copy with swag.
Yeah, so no matter when you're hearing this, either on the Patreon feed or the main line, that book is available now.
It is available to you now, which is very exciting. But this book, also very exciting, and I really enjoyed it. So let's get into it. Oh no, I just made the whole thing go away. So this book is set in a sort of anachronistic future present Los Angeles kind of situation.
Okay.
And it features let's just go right into it. I don't have much to say. Our FMC, Azzy Anderson. Azzy is petite. She's like 5'2". She has strawberry blonde hair, pale skin, but a big bright smile that she is very excellent at faking. because Azzy works as an influencer.
Yeah.
She has built a massive career at this point. At the point in the book where we meet her, she is all dolled up and getting ready to go to the MeTube Awards, and she's walking the red carpet. Like, she's built her following from like a grassroots to like a recognizable influencer's career now. So she's at this massive gala event, and she's doing the press line. And she hates the whole thing. She doesn't really want to be there, but her manager, Trisha, has insisted that she attend. She kind of, at this point, the shine has come off of the career that is being an influencer. It all feels really fake and surface level and sort of obtuse. And she is also extremely anxious to be out in public, especially amongst so many strangers, with all of the cameras and all of the stimulation. We don't learn until later really what happened, but something bad has recently happened to her, so she is extra anxious.
Okay.
She was hoping to be escorted in through the back and avoid most of the big commotion, but Trisha insisted that she go in through the front because she needs to be front and center in front of the cameras at all times. So she makes her way through this press line, and she gets all the way into, I believe they're at a museum, until she gets into the like threshold that is the entryway to the main stage room, and she freezes. She starts having a panic attack. She can't breathe. She's shaking. She can't move. And like a bottleneck is forming behind her. She has no idea what to do. But thankfully, one of her best friends, Kira, is also in this world, is also at this event, kind of comes up behind her and goes, "Oh my God, what are you even doing here? Let's get you home right now." And they skedaddle right out of the place. We do a hard perspective shift right in chapter 2 to meet our MMC, a model REM-028 bodyguard unit. So we meet him as he comes online, processes his core programming and his assigned functions, and suddenly understands his place in the universe.
Wait, what?
Like, he comes online, and like the first two sentences are like, all of the knowledge that I need is suddenly available to me, or something, like, because he's an android. He's got an AI brain. He's just suddenly coming online and becoming aware. He begins to experience the world as he's like whisked down this hallway, and a series of scientists do final checks on him and stuff. He's like looking at his hands and like looking at other offline androids who are hanging on the wall who haven't been activated yet. He floats through this facility on a gurney, and as this process is happening, he considers how knowing something is different than experiencing something. And this is very interesting to him. He looks forward to experiencing more things.
Like, I know that there's an annual event where they roll a cheese down a hill.
Yes, the cheese roll.
But I haven't experienced a cheese roll.
Are you gonna do you want to participate in that?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's one of those.
That's how you break a femur.
Yes, but it's that or the running of the bulls.
Okay.
That's
this way it's whimsical because there's cheese.
Exactly. This is marginally safer. I no longer want to go run with the bulls because I have a family and whatnot, but
now you want to chase a cheese
down a
steep hill.
Yes.
Okay, honey. Okay. That's fine. So REM-028 comes to a final evaluation room where he meets a scientist named Beverly, who does a couple of final checks with him, like walking and touching his nose, and then he has to stand in front of a mirror for final visual inspection, and he looks at himself for the first time. So we get a description of him from his own perspective. He says, "I have curly dark hair and a dark trimmed beard. Facial hair seems unnecessary, but it doesn't get in the way of my capabilities. The color of my optic lenses is blue, and this is standard among us androids since our eyes can illuminate in the dark. My body gives the appearance of muscles under synthetic skin, but really it's just metal. I am an AndroCorp model REM-082 bodyguard. My primary function is to protect my owner, named Azzy Anderson, and I am equipped to serve her in any way she deems necessary."
Of course.
Of course. So that is his description of and understanding of himself. To fill in the rest of the blanks, he is 6'7", for some reason. Physically intimidating. He has superhuman strength and he's faster than a human. The only way that we can tell he isn't a human is that he has an exposed metal chest plate. So if you ask him to open his shirt, you're going to know he's a robot.
Dead giveaway every time.
Yeah. The AndroCorp creators decided to do that on purpose. They were like, we need a way to know for sure who's a robot and who's not a robot.
Yeah, we don't want a Blade Runner situation on our hands.
Exactly. We don't. Honestly, that test takes so long. You're walking through the desert and you see a turtle.
Exactly.
So
for some reason, as many times as I've seen Blade Runner, I cannot remember the name of that fucking test right now. I wanted to make a joke and I'm sitting over going,
yeah. I can't remember the name of the test either, but it's Voight-Kampff.
Voight-Kampff. Yes.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Nerdier than you.
Yeah, this time.
Now tell me your theories about the unicorn.
What the fuck you're talking about?
It's the only thing from Blade Runner that I really remember.
Oh,
and it confuses the fuck out of me every time. The unicorn.
Oh, I do have that. It's proof that Harrison Ford's character is a replicant.
Yeah, that Decker
IMO.
is a robot.
Yeah, the Decker's a robot.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to this robot. REM-028 passes all of his final inspections and he is sent to packaging, very eager to meet his new owner. About a week later, Azzy hasn't been able to leave the house since her public panic attack. It's everywhere. It went viral. It's on all the news channels. Trisha has made a public statement acknowledging that Azzy was recently attacked, which has made her like the new face of the Me Too movement, whether she likes it or not. So she's laying low. She kind of hates this. Her pain is now everybody's attention grabber, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
Her best friend Kira is staying with her most of the time, but she also has other friends, Donovan and Lucy, who come by to keep her company when Kira can't be around. She can only really be around other people she trusts right now, and that's okay. But it also has led to a life that's hermity and being supported by Chinese takeout.
So our life.
I mean, yeah, but you don't eat Chinese takeout.
But takeout.
Takeout, yeah. We cook.
No, we cook a lot more than we
used to. Yeah.
We only do like one takeout every couple weeks now.
Yep.
But we used to. We used to be a takeout.
Well, yeah, we didn't used to have kids.
Yeah. Anyway.
So the doorbell rings and Azzy jumps. She's terrified whenever the doorbell rings and she doesn't know if someone is coming. She is deeply traumatized, is what I'm saying. But it's just Lucy. Kira has invited Lucy over so that they can both talk to Azzy together. They sit her down and they tell her they think maybe she should consider getting one of those new AndroCorp AI bodyguards. And Azzy's knee-jerk reaction is no, they are creepy and weird. No.
Well, bad news.
Yeah, and the girls are like, well, we already got you one. Kira tells her that they can see that she is struggling and they know how hard that she is working, but therapy and medication are not enough. She can't leave the house. They think that maybe what she needs is 24/7 protection so that she can feel safe again. Mm-hmm. And if she, like, they ask her, she's like, I can't do that. It's too weird. I don't want to be like, I don't want to have an android staring at me all the time living in my house. But they tell her, like, it's either that or you stop being an influencer.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't go out in public, you can't have this job. So I'm sorry, but like, we already ordered you one and it's on its way. So she asks how much it cost. It was free. You're an influencer. They just want you to be seen in public with him. And she's annoyed by it. She thinks that it's creepy. And so
I think your whole career is creepy.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah, I honestly think, Azzy, your career is a little strange as well. But yeah, anyway, the girls say, look, if you don't like him, if he arrives and he creeps you out, send him back. It's fine. But we did make sure to get you a really pretty one, so at least you have something nice to look at. Bye. And then they kind of leave. They tell her, like, you have a life-size Ken doll coming your way. Just enjoy this.
That could murder on your behalf.
Yes, right? I think it's like the next day, her manager, Trisha, calls her and makes her distaste for the robot plan known. She thinks that the robot is not going to be beneficial for Azzy's career. It will make her look like she is, I guess, scared all of the time.
Yes.
Yeah. But so Trisha is one of those like shut up and move on kind of people. Your feelings are getting in the way of my profits.
Yeah. See, and I already dislike Trisha because my disdain for the entire industry of influence and influencing, to me, it's just the most toxic and obnoxious thing. But then imagine if your job was to manage somebody who was an influencer. Like, that seemed like influencing on a certain level has a level of respectability. Mm-hmm. But managing that, mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I have to tread lightly here because technically we are influencers.
Yeah, I'm not influencing. I'm just influencing people to turn this episode off.
Yeah, this is going off the rail.
Anyway, Trisha.
Influencers suck, we say, having several influencer friends.
No. I don't mean specific. Like, I don't mean people in specific spaces like book talk or whatnot. I just mean.
You mean people who get paid, $10,000 to drink out of the right water bottle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I understand that.
About.
I
anyway.
do. Yeah, it feels weird. Anyway, so
Trisha, bad person.
Trisha sucks. Is like, well, what about your friend Donovan? Like, he's cute and he's strong. Like, you could maybe start a relationship with him and it wouldn't be as weird as the robot. And Azzy's like, no, Donovan is my friend. He's been my friend for years. It's completely platonic. I have to go. My robot delivery has arrived. And Trisha just keeps on talking like Azzy hasn't just hung up the phone, of course, because she's not really listening to anything Azzy has to say. Azzy goes to the door, gets the robot. So it's been delivered in a giant like cardboard box on a rolling platform, and she wheels it into her kitchen and she cuts it open, and inside of that box is another box made of clear, thin plastic film.
It's a Maritrishka robot.
But inside of that is the REM 028. And he is currently offline. So she takes a minute to just look at him. And she's like, oh, fuck. Okay, my friends know my type. This is the hottest man I have ever seen in my life. He's gorgeous. And she's immediately like a little turned on by him. And immediately like, that's a fucking robot. Don't do that to herself. Mm-hmm. But before she can lean in too close and start fogging up the plastic, basically, her phone dings. It's a message from AndroCorp telling her how to activate her robot. Push a button on the side of the base.
Scan the QR code to activate.
Right? The QR code on his right ass cheek to activate. No, push a button on the side of the pedestal. She does so. The plastic sheeting is sucked away somehow. It's future
right
technology.
Up his asshole.
Right into the platform, I think. I don't know. And he activates when he turns on his irises shine with the weird blue light for a second until he adjusts. I pictured like apertures in his eyes closing and opening until anyway, once he is fully adjusted, he looks down at her and smiles warmly and says hello. And she is terrified immediately.
You've just welcomed this giant super strength having robot into the home of a 5'2"
right
terrified woman.
Exactly. So it takes in her home, it starts mapping it out. So he's got advanced AI software. As soon as he starts seeing things, he starts learning, right?
Ingress, egress.
Yes, exactly. And then he focuses in on the human in the room. He identifies this as Azzy Anderson, his master and owner, who is shivering with a heart rate of 110 beats per minute, which he calculates to mean that she is frightened. So he marches over to her and he's like, "You're frightened. What has frightened you?" And she's like, "You, my dude." And he's very confused.
I will go die now.
"I am a model REM 028 Bodyguard unit. I am here to protect you. You should not be afraid of me, Azzy Anderson." Like... He has absolutely no idea why she would be frightened of him. And she's like, "Yeah, okay, well, what about world domination?" And he takes a moment to scan his brain, and he's like, I don't understand that question.
Sure you don't, buddy.
She's like, that's exactly what a robot with world domination on the brain would say. Like, she's just like, I don't want to be the influencer that influenced Skynet into existence, right? That can't be me. He says that he is designed to protect her and to serve her in any way that she deems necessary. And she asks him to clarify what that means. He says, whatever way you deem necessary to your well-being, I will assist you and comply. Anything? Yeah. So she take off your shirt. And he does. She has done this so that she can see the metal chest plate. Mm-hmm. She asks him about it, and he explains the whole Androcorp wanted to make sure you knew I was a robot. So then she asks if she can touch him, and he agrees. She is like, whoa, this feels really, really human, like creepily almost. You shouldn't feel this human. And he is delighted to find that his touch receptors work and that it feels nice to be touched in this way. He has the ability to turn those on and off depending on whether or not he expects to feel pain, I guess. But right now, it's a little tickly and kind of nice. She asks what is different about him besides the metal plate. What else is different about him that she can't see? And he says, oh, my eyes glow neon blue in the dark. I have superhuman strength. I am much harder to damage. I don't require sleep, food, water, or defecation, and I have no genitals.
Bummer.
And Azzy's like somewhat disappointed by that. And he asks why. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm such a fucking mess. One second, I'm terrified. The next second, I'm horny. I'm so sorry. I am going to back up now. Like, that was the subtext, but it was also the text. Okay. she just said that straight to him. And
I wish you had a dick.
And he says, well, if she requires sexual satisfaction, he can provide that. He doesn't need a penis to do that. But one can be purchased separately from Androcorp if she wants one.
We have an entire selection.
Yep. So she exits to the bedroom, leaving him in the kitchen. She's like, you stay out here. I'm taking a fucking nap. But she did not take a nap.
Yeah, no, she did not. She probably went and got the small robot that makes the big robot jealous.
Well, yeah. So he complies and sits in the kitchen waiting for her, but he is confused because he can read her vitals, and her vitals show that she is still aroused. Why didn't she want him to help?
I can relate to this guy.
So 15 minutes later, Azzy cannot sleep, so she gets out her vibrator to like jill away the weird horny feelings that she has about the robot. But she can't quite cover up the moans of the orgasm that she has, which has the REM-028 banging on the door because it sounds like she is in distress. He's like, tell me you're okay or I'm breaking the door down in 5, 4, 3. And she's like, I'm fine. Holy shit, dude.
Take about 20% off there,
exactly.
Bud.
So she tells him to stay out there. It will be fine. And he's like, okay. She is now in like the post-nut clarity spiral place where she's like, oh my God, I just jacked off to the thought of a robot. This guy, I own this thing. I don't know if this is like the ethics of this are really weird. She considers that she can't call him REM-028 forever.
No.
So she decides to call him Remy.
I was going to say that it's a very logical progression.
Yes. Which confuses him a few minutes later when she is screaming, Remy, from the bedroom. But the auditory processors tell him that that is a frightened scream.
Okay.
So he comes barging into the room and finds her curled up on the floor, shaking and sobbing next to her computer. So Azzy had been checking her emails, which she had been neglecting for a while. She received an email from someone called @the_Black_Hatter. With a picture of her own front door attached. The subject line is, I found you. So she's having a panic attack. Because,
as you would.
Yeah. Remy soothes her. He tells her that anyone who finds her will now find him first, and he will protect her at any cost. He finds that he has the urge to like pet her hair and to put a hand on her shoulder, which is strange because he should not have urges because he's an android. But he does it anyway. And her heart rate goes up when he touches her shoulder. He stares down in her eyes, trying to figure out what the hell that means. And then she commands him to kiss her. And he does, because it is a command. So he does that. Even though he notes somewhere in the back of his head, he also wants to kiss her, he thinks, maybe. But that's impossible. He shouldn't know how to want anything. A command is a command. She asks him if he wants this. He tells her he's not programmed to want anything. He is programmed to serve. And she's like, you know what? Horny now, ethics later. We'll figure this out some other time. Fuck me. And he says he cannot provide intercourse to her because, again, he does not have a penis. But he is capable of doing a lot of other things. And he says, I'm capable of stimulating release in other ways. And she cringes. She's like, could you not make it sound like I'm at the fucking doctor right now because I don't have a medical fetish? And he says, I can download like the popular erotic romances and simulate the popular protagonists if that's what you want. And she's like, okay, sure. And it takes him like 3.5 seconds to download a whole new persona. So he goes from being a kind of clinical robot to being a daddy. And it's like, oh, it was whiplash for me. I was like, what the fuck, bro? But it is absolutely genius. I can't believe I love it as for an Android romance downloading a new personality. That's funny. Yeah. I like it a lot. So suddenly he is a domineering and demanding like daddy lover who throws her on the bed and demands that she strip naked and show him her pretty little pussy. And like, she's like, okay. Okay. But this is exactly what I needed though. So yeah. Okay, sure. She calls him Remy again, and he likes that. This is the first time he knows that she's referring to him as Remy, and he likes the nickname. He asks if he can call her Little Slut in return, and she's like, I love this plan. This is a great plan. She then has a moment of crisis when he takes his shirt off and she sees the metal chest plate. But again, horny now, ethics later. He starts touching her. He starts talking dirty. We'll figure this all out when I'm not so horny. So he eats her out, which he does very, very well. And I want to know if that was like AI programming or if he downloaded that from the books.
No, you don't. You do not want an android to learn how to eat pussy from a large language like a language learning model. Because that's all AI is. Yeah. So as far as he's concerned, the clit isn't real.
Well, he was scraping just from popular romance novels.
That's true. Okay, so if he's scraping from romance novels, he might know a thing.
He might know a thing or two.
But he was just like polling the general public in just like true AI fashion. Like if he's chat GPTing how to eat pussy, he's not going to be good at it.
Oh, no. That's so sad. I want to ask chat GPT how to eat pussy now and see what it says.
Ask Chat GPT and then ask Twitter and see which is worse.
Somebody asked, hey, Chat GPT, how do you suck a dick?
Alexa.
According to Reddit.com. Oh God! Okay, we gotta.
According to Reddit user u/saltysack or whatever. Anyway, so the android eats pussy.
Yeah,
let's go.
The android eats pussy. She begs him. She begs to have him inside her, but again, he does not have a dick, so he can't do that.
I must stress.
So instead, he scoots back up so he can finger her.
Okay.
And in the afterglow, after she has had an orgasm, she looks into his eyes and he's telling her how much he loved watching that. And she sees an intensity there. And she kind of feels like maybe he means that. And then like 2 seconds later, he's standing on the edge of the bed, very clinically asking if she needs any additional assistance. So he like didn't download the aftercare package. And that's a problem because she's left, feeling like a kicked puppy. You can't call somebody a little slut and make them scream and then just fucking leave, dude. That's not okay.
Unless it is negotiated beforehand.
Right? Yeah, unless that's part of it. But aftercare is required to some degree. Anyway, so Azzy is thrown right back into her ethical dilemma of exactly how much of this is healthy, exactly how much of this can possibly be real. She's a developing attachment to a robot. But also she's like, I have PTSD. I have severe anxiety. I'm scared and I am vulnerable, and Remy makes me feel safe. That has to count for something, right?
Yeah.
So, okay then. She has an event to attend, the MeTube convention, which I guess is associated with the MeTube Awards, and she has decided to take Remy with her. Obviously, he is going to protect her at all times now. As they are leaving, she calls him Remy again. She's like, "Are you ready, Remy?" And he asks if, since she will be calling him Remy, would she like him to call her little slut? And she's like,
under no circumstances.
Azzy, you can call me Azzy. Jesus Christ, man. Okay.
What? I thought that was your name.
Yeah, Android logic, faulty. No, bad. They attend this convention. He escorts her through the press line. She's doing much better. She's feeling a lot calmer, which makes Kira very happy to see when she comes up and introduces herself to Remy. And she's like, "Wow, you're really hot. I should get one just cuz. I don't need protection, but I mean, come on, if you can just buy one." After she leaves, Remy then notices a man trying to sneak up behind Azzy, and he steps in front of that man and is like, "Don't you fucking dare." And the guy's like, "Whoa, what's your problem, dude?" This is her friend Donovan. He says he was just trying to be playful, but Remy does not like Donovan at all. He considers Donovan a threat because who would sneak up on an already anxious person?
Right.
That's his. And he's right. I mean, if you already know that she is jumpy because something terrible has happened to her, why would you sneak up on her? Perfect logic, Remy. Love it. She says, "No, this is Donovan. He's my friend. He was just trying to be playful." Donovan makes a few like backhanded comments about Remy. I think he calls him a freak and a hunk of junk, or like a robo freak or something like that. And then he tells Azzy, "I'm always around if you need anything. You don't need this hunk of junk or whatever." She politely declines and they go to leave, but Donovan stops them and says, "Oh, we're going to an after party at this club later. You should come with us." And because Azzy is a people pleaser who can't say no, they go to that club later that evening. In the town car on the way to the club, she's asking Remy if everything is okay, and he replies, "Yes, she is safe. Everything is okay." She says, "No, like, are you okay?" "Yes, I am functioning optimally. Everything is okay." She's like, "No, bro, you seem mad. Jesus Christ, are you okay?" And he's like, "I do not have the ability to feel mad. However, I do not trust this Donovan person, and I don't think we should be going to this club." She says that Donovan is her friend. She trusts him. He says he understands people better than people do because he has sensors which can monitor body language, heart rate, eye movement. He knows when someone is being genuine, and he knows when they are lying. And he can always tell when someone is sexually aroused. That last comment kind of concerns her because she isn't sure she wants him to always know when she's horny. She asks if he can tell with her all the time, and he says, of course, he is fine-tuned to her needs specifically. All of this talk about horny has made Azzy actually horny, and she is kind of loving what she is assuming is jealousy coming from Remy. Like, this dislike of Donovan is making her feel some kind of way. Next thing you know, she is climbing into Remy's lap, asking him to touch her and to find out if she is aroused right now. Like, are your sensors right? Of course they fucking are, dude.
Yes, you can get off me now.
Yep.
Or you can get off on me now.
So Remy minimizes the window in his brain that's running, "Why do I feel intense desire to fuck a woman?" And he
.exe,
like, because that's not a thing he should feel as a robot. And he fingers Azzy in the back of the town car instead.
As one does.
Yes, much better. Inside the club, it's like far too loud and far too bright and far too crowded. Azzy doesn't really want to be there, but Donovan and his friends have this entire like VIP loft space, so she thinks she'll be okay. Donovan insists that they leave Remy at the bottom of the stairs, and she
like a pair of boots.
Right? And she, again, is a people pleaser. She can't cause a scene. Even though she would prefer Remy not leave her side, she will be able to see him the whole time down at the bottom of the stairs. fine, she'll go up for a little while. So she goes up to the VIP loft, and Donovan introduces her to a bunch of people she doesn't know, people who don't seem to particularly care that she's even here. He tries to get her to dance, and she's way too stiff and awkward, so he immediately leaves her alone with strangers to go and get them drinks.
Great plan.
Fantastic plan. So she goes and she sits down next to this one guy. Donovan said he thinks his name is Abraham. They don't really know him, but he's a high roller. He's the one who's been buying all the coke. Everybody's all coked up. Donovan's acting really fucking weird. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to go sit on the couch next to this guy who seems to be mostly chill.
But also is coke adjacent.
Yeah. As she sits down and she's like, hey, how do you know Donovan? And the guy's like, gets weird and twitchy and sweaty. And then he suddenly pulls his phone out and takes a picture of her, and he's like, I'm sorry, I had to document this moment. I told you I would find you, and I found you. And now we can be together. And she screams for Remy, who is immediately up there at the top of the stairs before like anybody can do anything. But in the commotion, that guy has run down the stairs, knocked over Donovan. It's just a fucking mess right now, and nobody knows what's going on. But Remy is pissed. Azzy is fine. The dude bolted down the stairs, and Remy blames Donovan for all of this, basically. So he picks him up by the shirt and, like, shakes him to try to get answers out of him.
But he doesn't stop to, like, let him talk, so he's just like...
Well, he kind of deserves it, but yeah. So, but Donovan doesn't know anything. He just met the guy tonight. He says they were only hanging out with him because he had the coke. Remy maintains that this is all Donovan's fault, which really pisses Azzy off, but they're already, like... It's a whole mess. They're walking out of the club anyway. It doesn't matter what's happening. Donovan is left behind to pay the tab. By the time they get home, though, Azzy has calmed down, and she basically collapses. It was too much. Another stalker has found her. She just wants to go to bed, and she asks if Remy would please climb into bed with her and hold her. Absolutely, he would love to do that. As soon as they are under the covers, though, she kisses him, and she asks if he would like a dick attachment. He says yes.
Can we overnight that?
Yeah. He asks if she wants to wait for one to arrive before he pleasures her again. And she asks what he wants. Again, he isn't supposed to want anything at all. He's only supposed to comply with orders. But
tell me what you want.
His adaptive AI is apparently already adapted to the point of desiring this woman. So he tells her he wants to taste how much she wants him. So he eats her out fantastically. Again, I need to know if this was programming or what. And in the afterglow, as she's cuddling up and kissing him and taking off his shirt and exploring his body, he's enjoying the sensation, which is, again, another odd thing that really shouldn't be possible. But when she gets to his pants, she realizes he's not all that excited because there's nothing below the belt. So she just pops out of bed. She's like, I have to go make a very large purchase. Excuse me. Goodbye. And I don't know if she meant large in size or large in cost.
Not too large.
As far as I can tell, it was lovely. Maybe a little large, but not like gigantic or anything. She didn't order the deluxe model.
Yeah.
The next day, they're basically both pressing their noses against the window, waiting for the package.
Doing the Scott Pilgrim.
Yep.
Are you waiting for the package you just ordered?
Yep. Remy has spent like the last day just going around and around in his head about Azzy. He has taken care of all of the security measures that he needs to with regards to her stalker, but mostly he just keeps pondering his want for her. He isn't supposed to want her, and when his dick comes, he wonders if it will feel pleasure. He's not supposed to feel pleasure, but he already knows what it like he's not supposed to feel arousal necessarily, but he already knows that it feels pleasurable for her to touch him. It feels pleasurable to pleasure her. Mm-hmm. So he's not sure what's going to happen when he attaches a dick to the situation. And at the end of all of this massive thought spiral that took basically the whole chapter, he thinks, if this is a function of his adaptive AI, that almost frightens him more. Like his ability to learn and grow feelings and physical need is frightening, because if his creators find out, what will they do with him?
Yeah.
You know?
If
he's shut off, who would protect Azzy?
I don't learn, guys. Yeah. Come on. I didn't learn shit.
Anyway, his doom spiral is interrupted by the doorbell ringing, because apparently they can overnight a dick to your house.
Dick's here. Dick dash.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dong dash.
Dong dash. Fuck you. Fuck you. Ugh. Anyway, she goes to the bathroom, or she goes to the bedroom to get ready and leave him to do whatever the attachment portion is that wasn't included. Thankfully, I didn't have to see him like try and figure out the instructions that were in like Swedish or something. Rotate, counterclock. What the fuck?
Sir, I am an android.
So he gets the dick attached. It gives him a certain swagger, he feels.
He's just kind of like,
honestly, like, his thoughts when he got it attached were like, this makes me feel a certain kind of way. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah, having a dick literally does make you feel more confident. Fuck you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to be more confident. You're already an unkillable robot. So they fuck about it.
Of course.
I mean, obviously. So she has ordered her exact dream cock, whatever that is. I don't know. And he puts it to good use. So first he eats her out because he doesn't think he will last long, which is again more proof that he is no ordinary fuckbot because he fears premature ejaculation.
Yeah.
When he fucks her, it's amazing, and he briefly worries that his first orgasm will like make him short circuit, which is adorable, but it doesn't. And it's absolutely fantastic. Obviously 10 points all around. Me wondering why scientists would possibly program a robot to orgasm. I don't know. I wondered why they gave it semen. They did that too. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not asking too many questions. Suspend your disbelief.
I'm gonna have to.
Yep. I think I put it in my notes somewhere that yes, he makes semen. These scientists knew people were going to get freaky about it.
Oh. Yeah, no, I guarantee you somebody was in that room going, okay, look,
somebody's going to want to fuck the robot.
I know nobody wants to talk about this.
Somebody's going to want the robot to come on their face.
Yeah, look at this. So, hear me out. Assorted flavors.
That's a good idea.
See? I'm a genius.
Maybe they're like, well, pH balanced. Make sure your vagina's healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be nice, right?
Yeah.
Finally, they're thinking about women's needs.
This one gives you fresh breath. But then you run the risk of going, no, you should really suck my dick and swallow. You really should. No, you really should.
Oh.
What are you trying to say? Did you buy the mouthwash cum?
Oh, that's just mean. I don't like that at all.
I don't like that I had that thought.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm sad.
So sad.
A little achy.
Yeah. Anyway, so they have sex. It's glorious. It's glorious, fantastic. And as they cuddle up, he considers how what has just happened will change the rules of physics and the universe and consciousness and what it means to be human. But for now, he just wants to take a nap and snuggle up next to his girl, you know? He doesn't sleep, actually. He just wants to cuddle up next to Azzy.
Somewhere there's a tech bro steepling his fingers.
He feels a disturbance in the force. So the next morning, Azzy wakes up. She gets right into her feelings about Remy. Like, as soon as she wakes up, she's swirling in it.
And we're spiraling.
Yep. And she's like, she decides she's going to make the pragmatic choice. Ethical or not, Remy is good for her because she can trust him implicitly. He is not a human man. And that is why this works. And if he is an android who cannot love her, she will have to be okay with that. She's trying to be very pragmatic, even if he can't truly love and want her. So she goes out to the kitchen, where he has made her favorite breakfast sando, also Carl's favorite breakfast sando, egg, cheese, and bacon.
Gotta.
Yep. They have some light banter about like how she has no way to repay him for taking care of her, because he also like cleans her house and takes care of general stuff for her. And he says that her existence is enough, which is very sweet. But it also really means he's designed to serve her.
Yeah.
And that just like, again, is all wibbly wobbly inside her head. She can't make heads or tails of how she feels about all of that. She has a thought. She's curious about something. And she decides, okay, I want to try this. Stand perfectly still. Okay, of course. And she gets down on her knees and she gives him a blowjob. And it is obviously pleasurable to him, which is her first indication that he experiences arousal and pleasure outside of her pleasure, because she's blowing him. Doesn't have anything to do with her physical pleasure right now. She deep throats him and gags, and he groans. And she's like, oh, okay, that gives me an idea. So she sits back on her heels. She opens her mouth. She says, use me. And he thinks about it for some amount of time and then does so. And it is tear streamy, throat fucking brutal, exactly what she wants, aggressively so. But she is like really enjoying the carnality of this experience. He finishes in her mouth, this is where I said, yes, he does produce semen. The scientists who designed him obviously knew the freaks were out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And she is left an absolute mess when he is done. And he's immediately apologetic. He's wiping her tears and cleaning her up. He made her cry. He's worrying about her. And his reaction shocks her because it is the appropriate reaction, but not for a robot. Mm-hmm. He's concerned that he hurt her, which means he did something that potentially could have hurt her for his own pleasure, mm-hmm. which means ... But before she can make that final conclusion for herself, there's a knock on her door. It's Donovan, who has come with takeout and a request for a movie day to make up for the horrible thing that happened to her in the club. Remy is not happy about that. Again, he still does not like Donovan at all, but he's like, I don't know what to do. This whole emotions thing just like really fucking sucks. Like, yeah, preach, dude. I know.
Not great.
It's not the best. It doesn't get any easier with time, so just like strap in, I guess. You wanted to be human. He has done that whole sensor evaluation thing on Donovan, and it is very clear that Donovan is aroused by Azzy, which has also now ignited his new jealousy extension, I guess.
That's the dick.
Yeah. Donovan asks if they can turn Remy off while he's there, because he's there. He can take care of Azzy. They don't need the robot. But she's like, no, we're not turning him off. However, she is, again, a people pleaser. She needs to find a compromise. So she sends Remy to the bedroom, which totally breaks his heart. But he freezes his face in place because he doesn't want her to know that he's having any kind of feelings. He's not supposed to be having feelings at all. As soon as the movie starts, Donovan just like turns up the psychopath on himself for some reason. So he's sitting too close. He's giving Azzy unsolicited shoulder rubs and like calling her babe and stuff. She says he's always been kind of a touchy-feely friend, but this feels more predatory, more aggressive. He gets all pissy because she's tense, which means that she's actively pushing him away because she doesn't want him to touch her. Babe, you're so tense right now. And she's like, yeah, well, considering like everything that has happened to me recently, I think maybe my anxiety is a pretty fucking normal response. We still don't have the whole story about what happened to her in the book, but obviously it was something awful. And he has the most dismissive response anybody can have. God, that was such a long time ago. It was like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
She's having a perfectly normal response. But, God, can you shut up about it already? Like, it was so long ago. Everybody's sick of hearing about it, basically.
Donovan, I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
Talking about shit that happened to me over 4 decades ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how trauma works.
Yeah. It doesn't just go away. But of course, for someone like Donovan or Trisha, people who only care about what you can provide to them or how you can enrich their life. Yeah. If you aren't doing well, they're not doing well. Yeah. But they don't care that you're not doing well. They just want you to start doing well.
They just want to be. They need a healthy host to be properly parasitic.
Yes, exactly. But they just demand you get better. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he moves on. He tells her that she is getting worse. She's getting more paranoid, and he thinks that it's the robo-freak. Trisha thinks that she should step back from him in public as well. Like, maybe they should think about getting rid of the robot bodyguard. It's not a good look. And as he defends Remy, she tells Donovan specifically, stop calling him names and stop treating him like he doesn't have feelings. And he's arguing he's a toaster. And this is the point where she finally has like the full revelatory, oh my God, Remy does have feelings. He has emotions. Holy shit. This is the most monumental shift in the understanding of reality and consciousness that anybody can possibly have. But she doesn't have a lot of time to focus on that right now because Donovan is back to saying she's just too tense. When's the last time you got off, babe? You know, if you need a release, I'm always here for you. And then he is kissing her without her consent, and she is screaming. And Remy is coming out of the bedroom at full force, obviously. He gets Donovan off of her, wrenches his arm behind his back, and starts bouncing him out of the building, basically. Donovan starts screaming insults at Azzy and says something about how, like, it was like, I can't believe I even felt guilty that I took that $1,000 so that guy could get you alone in the club or whatever, right? Like, whatever is coming for you, you deserve it. You're a fucking freak. Like, Donovan is just trash.
Just taking the mask off. Yeah,
he's completely taking the mask off, and he's also confessing to crimes, like actively confessing to crimes because he's an idiot, I guess. Remy threatens to kill Donovan if he ever comes back, and then he hurls him bodily out of the door. He turns around and starts comforting Azzy, who like immediately starts breaking into sobs and apologizing. And he's not sure. He's like, "Why are you sorry?" And she says, "For not believing you about Donovan, for making you stay in the bedroom, for disregarding your feelings." And that stops him short. He's like, "I don't know about
feelings. No, I'm not feeling anything."
Like he's still not confident in the reality of his own sentience, and he is afraid a little bit of what that means, again, because they could destroy him for being Skynet.
Yeah. No, you should be afraid of feelings.
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
You should be afraid of feelings for sure. But she argues that she knows that it is true. He does have feelings. She can see it in the intensity in his eyes, that he wants her and that he wasn't designed to do that. He learned how to do that. And he's like, well, what happens if the people who find out, like the people who made me find out they made life, like what happens? She says, nobody has to know. It'll just be us. It's fine. We can just pretend. It'll be our little secret. The next morning, they're being all like snuggly and cute and honeymoon horny. They've spent all night fucking on and off, but that was closed door. We didn't see that. And they have a very cute sort of kissy conversation that goes into serious and somber the way that only morning pillow talk can.
Yeah.
As he says that she feels like she's finally ready to tell Remy what happened to her, the whole story of what happened to her. So she explains that she always kind of thought that the weirdos in her DMs were just part of the territory and she never paid them much mind until a few months ago when she was out with Kira and Lucy at a fancy bar. Some guy started buying them drinks and charming his way into their evening with them. And when she wanted to go home, the guy offered to drive her home, and she felt like she couldn't say no to that because he had been spending all of this money on them. That's financial manipulation.
Yes, it is.
You do not owe anyone anything for spending money on you ever, but she allowed this man to drive her home. She was going to ask him to drop her off a block from her house so that he didn't know her address, but he drove her right up to her front door and basically super villain monologued, like, I've been following you. You never answered my DMs. I need to be with you. She starts freaking out. And as soon as she was not responsive to his advances, he started attacking her.
Of course.
She says he broke her nose, battered her face, and sexually assaulted her. But thankfully, two people were walking by. They saw what was happening in the car. One guy started banging on the door. The other guy went around the other side so that when her attacker tried to flee the vehicle, they tackled him. This guy went immediately to jail, and it actually worked out.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Right to jail.
Right to jail. And nobody cared that he was a promising young man, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck that guy. And now she is freaking out because it's happening again, basically. Mm-hmm. She tells him she knows that she was one of the lucky ones, which is absolutely pathetic, by the way, that she is one of the lucky ones because her attacker actually went to jail. But that she was having a really hard time going about her daily life, even knowing that that person was no longer going to be able to harm her. And now that she has Remy, she's finally starting to feel better. For the first time ever, she thinks life maybe is less horrible, and it's all because of Remy. She tells him that she loves him. He still isn't really sure what love is, and she's like, you don't have to, I don't want to think that you're just saying it back because you're my robot. So It's fine. He says he thinks he's beginning to understand it, though, which is very sweet. A few days later, Azzy gets a call from Trisha reminding her that they have a charity function that night, and she agrees because, again, she is a people pleaser. Trisha tells her to ditch the robot. She will not be doing that.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
No.
The party is lovely. It's like an outdoor charity gala for an organization that she is happy to be supporting. But her friends, Kira and Lucy, they don't do these kinds of events. So she is left with nobody but Remy, and they are immediately driven toward a table with Trisha and Donovan sitting at that table. So they have to play nice. They're in public, and they don't know how much Trisha knows about what Donovan did, and like it's that ugly underbelly of Hollywood thing. So they go over, they talk to Donovan and Trisha sends Azzy off to get some champagne. It'll be good for you to be seen without the robot, get a couple of pictures by yourself, and I'll stay here and I'll get to know Remy. And by get to know, she means just talk his ear off so that he's forced to stand next to her in order to be polite, you know? Mm-hmm. As soon as Azzy is halfway across the venue, she is stopped by the guy who found her in the club. He has a small pistol in his hand, and he says that she needs to follow him or he will shoot. So she does. Obviously. Couple of minutes later, Remy looks up. He realizes it does not take this long to get champagne. I can't see Azzy anywhere. And he immediately abandons that conversation with Trisha. No pleasantries. She's like still gabbing. And he's like, bye, and walks away. And he finds Azzy and her attacker just inside of the tree line of some woods that are at the edge of this park. He attacks that guy, but he doesn't realize the guy has a gun. He manages to get him to the ground, and I think he breaks his ankle, but the guy fires like 5 or 6 shots through him, and eventually that'll kill any robot, and he ends up shutting down. The guy escapes. I don't know how. They say later that like in the commotion, they heard the gunshots, but nobody called the cops. Everybody assumed somebody else was calling the cops. So the guy had plenty of time to get away, and Remy is shutting down. I think Azzy like pulls his head into her lap, and she's crying. She's very upset. I mean, well, yeah, obviously. And he tries to comfort her, but there's nothing to be done. He shuts down. A couple of days later, Azzy is back at home. She is sobbing while Kira and Lucy listen and try to comfort her. They don't really understand why she is so upset. Like, they think she's assigned a lot more emotional value to Remy because of the trauma of everything. They still don't understand. Like, she hasn't really told anybody I'm in love with a robot. Yeah. And I think he loves me back.
Yeah, but I mean, think about like a little trinket or like, that was my dead mom's pen. You know, that joke from Archer. But like, yeah, you can assign emotions and value and emotional significance to anything. The fact that you're assigning this to a robot who, for all intents and purposes, looks like a fucking human.
Yeah.
Irrespective of the fucking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, they are fully, I think they just don't understand it because it's not something that can be understood yet, right? They think she has assigned it value for a different reason than she has assigned value. Yeah. It's fine. It's whatever. But she's crying, and they're like, it's going to be okay, honey. He's coming right back. He'll be here soon, you know? Like, it's been like 2 days, and he will be repaired and returned within 48 hours as Andro Court policy. You'll be fine. But only Azzy knows that, like, part of the reason she is crying is because she's secretly terrified that what comes back is not going to be Remy.
Right.
The doorbell rings. The new Remy is delivered. She tears into it and turns it on. And when he opens his eyes, there's like this moment of heavy tension and breath holding. And then his face softens, and he looks down at her, and he recognizes her.
Little slut. Not now, Remy.
Oh my God. Yes, that would be hilarious. But no. So he says Azzy, and they kiss, and they just keep on kissing. Like, Kira and Lucy leave. They're like, okay, bye.
Oh, now we get it. Okay.
They know that she bought the dick attachment, I'm sure. No, you tell your girlfriends everything.
They see the receipts. Mm-hmm. They saw the receipt out on the table.
No, I'm sure that they are fully aware, But so they just leave. They're like, bye. And they have, my lover just came back from the dead sex. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. It's great. Nothing in the world has ever been more right than this. It was a fantastic scene full of catharsis and relief. They go to sleep. Or, sleep. And then Remy wakes up inside of the Androcorp facility in a sterile, empty lab. He looks down and finds that he is fully fixed. He feels his torso. There are no more holes. He feels his face. There are no holes. But for some reason, he is not being shipped back to Azzy as he expected. And not being shipped back to Azzy means that Azzy is now in danger. So he has to leave. He stands up. He's like, thank God I'm at least wearing underpants. He gets the fuck out of there. He hears somebody yelling behind him. He's like, I don't have the time. Goodbye. And he just walks out and he starts running towards Azzy's house.
A, you're not my supermarket. B, I'm imagining that I'm imagining Taro from Dan to Dan. Get out of the way!
Just a mannequin who can't be stopped for shit, by the way. That's what that is. Oh my God, yes. So it's basically, so he runs full tilt for several hours. It's still night, but it's like 3 a.m. when he gets to her house, and he knocks on the door and he expects her to answer the door. But he answers the door. And Azzy wakes up to basically like the Spider-Man pointing meme happening in her kitchen. She's like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? And it's just two Remys.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, everything. They start fighting. They start like literally fist fighting. She starts crying. So they both go to comfort her, which makes them fight some more.
I will comfort her. No, I will comfort her.
Yeah. And eventually she's basically like, shut the fuck up. It's 3 a.m. I am the middle spoon. We're going to bed. We're not solving anything tonight. You over there. You over there. I'm tired. And they just go to bed. They have to listen to her, but also they will just listen to her because she's Azzy. A couple of hours later, it's still dark outside. She wakes up to Remy sliding a hand up her thigh, lightly petting her pussy, and she is instantly horny and leaning into it, which prompts other Remy to be like, what the fuck? And she's like, oh shit, I forgot there were two of you. Hi, honey. Anyway, but she doesn't stop him.
I was going to say, wait, do you have the dick attachment too?
Yes, they both do. They both have the dick attachment, apparently.
That's what, okay, I see how this is going to wrap up.
Yes, so she doesn't stop other Remy from making her come, and at this point, the names got confusing. She called them Remy 1 and Remy 2, but that confused me a lot. So I call them Returned Remy and Escaped Remy. The one who was returned in the box and the one who escaped from the facility. So Escaped Remy is the one who has been doing the fingering this time. And he declares that he simply has to fuck her. And Returned Remy is like, you were not fucking my girlfriend. The other guy's like, you mean my girlfriend?
Our...
Yeah. He argues, you probably have been fucking her since you got back. I haven't had sex with her in days. Come on, man, I'm dying. And he actually like makes him pause. He's like, oh shit.
Oh damn, bro.
Oh dip, bro. Okay. And eventually they ask Azzy, what does she want? And she's like, honestly, I want to fuck both of you. Like, you gonna put this in front of me and tell me not to eat? Like, come on. So Escaped Remy fucks her while she sucks Returned Remy's dick until Escaped Remy finishes, and then she rides Returned Remy reverse cowgirl on their knees so that Escaped Remy can finger her. There's a lot of very complex geometry happening, but it was the best sex she's ever had, obviously. 2 perfect lovers. Come on. She's having the time of her life. And then when they're all done, she's like urgently screaming that she loves them both before she passes out. They turned her off this time. The next morning, she goes out to the kitchen expecting them to be like fighting over who gets to make her breakfast, but instead they're both making her pancakes and they're like really jazzed about how good they both are at making pancakes for her. They're like, oh, we are really good at making pancakes, my guy.
Really starting to see why you picked this book.
Yes. And they're acting like best buddies. And she's like, okay, so which one is which? And they're like, that's the thing. So we are both Remy. We're not sure how Androcorp fucked up big time. Like, we think they just copied me and put me into a new body to send back to you, but they didn't wipe the original. And I woke up and I came back. So we are both Remy. But from the moment we each reactivated, we have all new memories. So we are our own people. She says, so we can't return or shut one of you off. Absolutely not.
God, no!
That is out of the question. No, of course not. And now that they both feel that they are safe in their own identities, and if they're being honest, they have to admit it's really hot to watch yourself fuck your girl.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if she's cool with it, they think they can make this work. You know, they both love her. What does she want? And she says, of course she wants, she loves Remy. It only makes sense that she can love two of Remy, but the name thing is going to get confusing. And they say, okay, well, we already thought about that too. So original Remy, original out of box Remy, will be Remy. New guy's Rem. We're just keeping it really simple here.
Our names are Jim.
Exactly. My notes say this is what it was like when they got that new blippy.
Well, I got another blippy.
I know. There's another blippy.
Yeah.
How many blippies can there be? Anyway.
The plural of blippy is blippi, and it's spelled the same.
So they have decided all together that they want a life, and they are going to have that life. There is just one thing that the Remys have to do first. And then we get 2 chapters that are basically epilogue. We don't have epilogues, but the Remys send Azzy away for the night. They fake a party at her house, and then they hack her stalker's email to make sure that he gets the only invitation. When he arrives, they kill him.
And then they go burn Androcorp.
No. The second epilogue, some months later, Azzy has reevaluated her life, ended her career, uprooted, and bought a cabin in the Appalachian Mountains with her 2 AI miracle robot lovers that Androcorp just never came back for, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. But they are safe and happy. She spends her morning tending her beehives, and then she goes inside where she finds the Remys jacking each other off just to get ready for her because they know she thinks it's hot. And
this feels good, right, bro? Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
You're
bro.
good at this, bro.
Exactly.
You're good at this, bro. Yeah, right, bro.
Then they have crazy double vaginal penetration sex.
Whoa.
Oh, buddy. And when they are all done, all is right with Azzy's world. The end. That was my AI. Thank you so much.
Shit. Well, I already know what you're into. But what are you into?
Do you?
Yes, I know why you picked this book, but I don't think you want to talk about that on the show. So.
Because if I could have 2 of you, I would.
I wasn't sure.
I don't mean sexually, just like 2 of you. To do all the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All the chorin'.
I would love 2 of me, so I would do half of the stuff.
Exactly.
But what are you into?
Oh, what am I into? That is such a good question, my guy.
And don't bullshit our listeners. You know why you want 2 of me. Listeners, she is bullshitting you.
I am bullshitting you.
And I was playing along, but she's bullshitting you.
I am into Mononoke the movie, The Phantom in the Rain.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie is not going to be for everyone, and I completely understand that. First of all, if you are photosensitive, if you are worried about like hypervisual stimulation, if you have epilepsy or migraines, I would not recommend you watch this movie at all.
No.
Because it is trippy. It's psychedelically trippy as fuck. It's Japanese horror, but it's also so gorgeous. Mm-hmm. The animation style is beautiful. The textured screen makes it look like it's Japanese watercolor art that's like moving in front of you.
Pause it at any moment.
Yes.
It looks like a paint. Like you will, if you watch, it's on Netflix. If you watch it, turn off the subtitles. I know that that is an offense to your millennial sensibilities, because mostly millennials listen to the show, and is hosted by 2 of them. Turn them off because it's gorgeous. Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to see the whole thing. The little bar at the bottom with the words is actually maybe going to upset you because it upset me. I was like, I want to see the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. The story is kind of difficult to grasp but it means so many different things. And for me, what I took away from it was the importance of autonomy, the importance of girlhood, the importance of friendship, and refusing to give up what makes you special. Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful movie. Also, it just tripped me the fuck out.
Yeah, and I mean the medicine seller, the character design of the medicine seller.
That guy is an elf.
Yeah, it's just so cool.
Yes, it's amazing. But anyway, so again, that is called Mononoke, the movie The Phantom in the Rain. And it is on Netflix. It is gorgeous. It is worth it as long as you can handle the visual stimulation element. Please don't if you don't. That makes me worried. What are you into, honey?
I'm going to take a page out of your book, and I'm going to kind of go with, not with really an abstract thing, but nothing I'm going to link. And that's therapy.
Therapy.
I'm back in therapy.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about it. Because, you always get that post, like, I'm going to therapy. I'm doing something good for myself. Mm-hmm. But then you're like, fuck, now I got to do the actual therapizing. But I'm glad that I did it. If you have the ability, please do so. And this is how we announce our first sponsor, BetterHelp. No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely
no,
not.
We would never. No, if we ever got to the point where we got sponsors and BetterHelp came calling, I would tell them to eat every inch of my ass on the way out. No, go get yourself a normal, accessible therapist, whatever is within your means. I've been very fortunate to have access at various points. Like when I was a student, if you were currently in college, most colleges have offer that to their students in the USEN. We at U of M we called it the University Center USEN. I can't recommend it enough. Plus I didn't want to be one of those that stereotypical dudes would rather blank than go to therapy, and I didn't want to be one of those. And I've done it before. I was telling you the other day, I remember being in therapy when I was a child, like 7-8 years old.
Right.
So I'm not averse to it, and I think my mom, for apparently, it was a Midwestern mom in the 80s, back when nobody believed in therapy. And my mom was like, no, this kid needs help. And she just didn't realize that she was part of the problem. But
yeah.
that came later. And that's fine. So therapy, that's what I'm into. What are we going to read next week?
Oh, next week, we are doing the Spectacular Holiday Novellas by Lindsay Rain, but we are particularly focusing on Be My Valentine.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
I don't doubt that.
There are 2 books in the series, and they focus on the same main couple. I will be reading the first one just to get a handle on everything, but we are focusing on Be My Valentine by Lindsay Rain.
As always, I look forward to it. But in the meantime, you can find us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and I believe Blue Sky. All the links are in our link tree in the show notes. If you would like to contact us via email, please do so, cheapsmutpod@gmail.com. Once this episode hits the main feed, the top link in our link tree will be a link to this book. It is not an affiliate link. We do not get any money for this. If you would like to support us on Patreon, you can do so for just $1 a month. And this is where I would normally read the names of our Patreon supporters, and I would love to do that, but Patreon has made it better and easier to get insights into your Patreon. And one of the things they thought was make it better and easier is to just hide the names of all of our patrons. So I'm really sorry, everybody. Eat shit, Patreon. The music that you hear in this and every episode is called Nostalgia by Mackay Beats. You can find it along with thousands of other songs free of charge for you to use at the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org.
Listener, remember, if there is a book in you, write it. And if there's fucking in it, I'll read it.
And then she'll come on this show and explain it to me for your entertainment.
Bye-bye.